What's going on? We're live. Just got a few topics to talk about, maybe get some people on here. Don't know how long I'll be going tonight, maybe just like an hour or something. But just a few things that I figured were good to talk about. So we have Don't Live for Today. I got that. It was inspiration from a video I was listening to from Father Seraphim Rose. He was a monk and I believe a pastor in the Orthodox Church back in like the 70s and 80s, I believe. And he made mention to the modern belief system, or not belief system, but modern worldview of living for today and how that is pretty bad and, antithetical to Christianity. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit. And then family is wealth. We've talked on that many of times on the show. Fathers program their family. I think that's a very important topic that is probably going to come across as very controversial, but is not as controversial as one may think. Then the government is not evil. I think that's very important right there. And then Andrew Tate is bad for men. So that one is going to probably get a lot of attention, and I'm going to be talking about it in a way that most people have probably not heard of. So what's going on?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I just have a question. You say that Andrew Tate is bad for men. I just want to ask how, or can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so he promotes, whether he acknowledges it or not, promiscuity, right? He is a big proponent of feminism, whether he realizes that or not either, because men like him cause women to become quote unquote bad bitches that are just concerned about the bag and don't want a man because, as Tate famously said in his interview with the Nelk boys, that if a woman ever hooks up with him, she's guaranteed to have a divorce because she'll never find a man better than him. So basically, he's just training men to be, trying to be like this alpha male that's just basically using women for sex. But at the same time, he contradicts himself in saying that he believes in families. But then he goes on a Nelk Boy show and says that when he has relationships with a woman, all of the women that he's been in relationships with that have been married after him have all got divorces. So he seems to be, opposite. He's doing the opposite of what he talks about. And there's many other things as well.
So what about Drew Offlow? Do you think that she's a terrible person as well?
Who's Drew Offlow?
It's terrible for women. She's a radical, what is she, misandrist on TikTok, and she's basically the female version of Andrew Tate.
Yes, I think that that's bad. I'm against anybody who promotes promiscuity. I'm against Cardi B. I think Cardi B should probably be in prison for what she promotes, and she should definitely be banned as well, which apparently there's a movement to get her banned, so that's awesome. I'm against people promoting immorality and then promoting belief systems that are destructive to society. So, yeah, I am against Cardi B. I'm against Kim Kardashian. I'm against Andrew Tate. I'm against anybody who promotes that kind of ideology.
Perfect. Okay. And then you say government's not evil.
Yep.
Which part of the government? I mean, is government in general not evil, or
government is a tool? The government is a tool.
Is a tool.
Yes.
In what aspect?
It is a tool in keeping a cohesive society. It is something that is used in order to maintain order.
So, do you think that, corruption happens in governments?
Yes.
And, I mean, it happens.
But a hammer can be misused, right? A gun can be misused, right? Those things are tools, but people can corrupt the nature of a gun or corrupt the nature of a hammer by bashing somebody's face in, right? Like, just because you can do bad things with a tool doesn't make the tool bad in and of itself.
Well, we're talking about, there's multiple different types of tools and stuff like that.
Yep.
But we're talking about like if we're we're talking about the U.S. government, there's only, we have federal, state, legislative, and the local governments. I mean, I'm guessing you're talking about federal.
No, I'm talking about governments in general. The idea of a government, I'm talking at its core, it is a tool. Every government is a tool.
Thank
It
you,
is.
Daddy.
Oh, that was very weird. A lot of trolls on here. Government is not evil. True, it isn't. I don't think he understands tool well. Too well. Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree. And I find it very funny how the Andrew Tate supporters throw out this, oh, well, what do you think about these hoes? It's like, what do you mean? What do I think about them? Like, this is the same thing that people in politics do, right? Like, conservatives be like, oh, well, you're pointing out the hypocrisy. You're pointing out the hypocrisy on the right. Well, what about the left? What about the fact that the left is hypocritical too? And then you're like, yeah, that sucks too, bro. And then they're just like, oh no, I don't know what to do because my programming isn't suited for this type of conversation. So government is good. It can be, but my point is that the government is a tool, and tools are not good or evil. What he did was inspire men. Inspire men to do what? What did he inspire men to do? What are we to live for? What do you mean? What are we to live for? Oh, don't live for today. Yeah, well, live to serve God and live to make a better future for your family. Elaborate on family equals wealth. Well, it's very simple because human capital is the most valuable thing anybody can have in this world. And if you have a strong family, you're better off than a lonely billionaire. Andrew Tate is the GOAT. Okay. Like, he's a GOAT. Like, he's like a farm animal. Yeah. Government is not evil, but they trying to take women's rights to choice. What does that even mean? Yes, everyone does believe in God and everyone doesn't want a family. I think everybody, whether they realize it or not, does believe in God. And almost every single human being wants to have a family because that is like a natural biological desire to pass on one's genes. So, yes, I do think that those are natural things. And then as far as not living for today, well, why live for today when you can live a life that prepares you for a better tomorrow? Have fun living a lonely life without a family. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people don't have families and they weren't meant to have families. And that's fine. But most people do want families. That is like default of human nature. Your God is not real. Okay. He made his money kickboxing and people sharing his vids. Well, no, I mean, that's a lie. Obviously, you don't know much about Andrew Tate. This is very amusing. The Andrew Tate supporters know way less about Andrew Tate than anybody who has valid criticism against him. Because he actually made his money by pimping out girls, which is arguably why he went to Romania. And he was dealing with the mob, but that too. What's going on?
How's it going?
It's going well. Yourself?
I am living the dream.
That's good, man. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, nightmares are dreams too. Remember that. So, on the Andrew Tate thing, I had no idea who he was when all of this started. I mean, I really still don't. But my son was talking about it, and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. And so he kind of told me a little bit. So I still don't really know what's going on. But my question is why would you allow him to impact your life the way he has?
He hasn't at all. What do you mean?
No, he has. I mean, you're spending large amounts of your time.
No, I'm not
Maybe
actually.
whether or not
You
you're a
have
good
no
person or
clue.
not.
Hang on. I've only been on this live for 10 minutes. I don't think about Andrew Tate at all during my everyday life. I have 3 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. I have a company that I'm running. I have a job that I work. I help out at a farm. I have many other things to do in my life as opposed to focus on Andrew Tate. So he's not even a small sliver of my life. The purpose for these lives is to hopefully open people's eyes, young men specifically, who have been deluded by the nonsense, the evil worldview that he propagates out into the world. That's the point of it. But my life is, dude, I just have a newborn baby. So like Andrew Tate's the last
I'm not
thing on my mind
trying to upset
during
you.
all day.
I'm not trying to upset you. I'm not trying to piss you off.
I'm not upset. You just sound like you just made an assumption, and you know what people say about assuming. It's very true.
Well,
You know nothing about my everyday life.
maybe, okay, hold on. Maybe you're right. Yeah, well, you are right. I put the question out to you directly. I mean, like the whole internet. So the guy sounds like a scumbag to me. But I mean, every live I go past anymore, they're talking about Andrew Tate. It just, in my mind, he is getting the attention that he wants and does not deserve by everybody doing a live on him. And it really frustrates me because I don't know. I mean, it just seems like you see what I'm saying though?
I do know what you mean, and I'm not a believer that all press is good press. I think that that's a nonsense thing that probably people in small hats came up with, so that way they're always in the positive light. But anyway, I think it's very important.
By putting his name out there, you're keeping him relative.
Well, I think it's very important. Just like this, I don't know if you're Christian or not, or you believe in God or whatever, but it would
I
be
am a Christian.
it would be analogous to saying that you should never talk about the devil because that gives the devil press. Like, no, you should talk about the devil because he has an evil plan to bring people to hell with him. So you should warn people of the evils of the devil, just like you should warn people the evils of worldviews that are demonic. So people that are perpetrating that, or propagating that rather, should be discussed, but in a objective and logical manner. A lot of the criticism that's being thrown at Andrew Tate is actually very childish and feminine. I'm not doing those kind of criticisms because they're illogical, they're weak, and they're ineffective.
So, but are you a Christian?
I am.
Okay, so when you go to church, do they preach to you about how the devil is bad, or do they preach to you about about God and the good that he
Both.
does and how,
All of it.
Man, I've never been to a church like that. We speak of God in the church.
Well,
of God
that means
where I
that
go.
your church is probably weak if you don't talk about the devil and hell and the evils of the world.
Oh.
How do you prepare your soul for the evils of the world if you don't talk about the evils of the world and what to watch out for and what the devil does?
By learning about God, by knowing what is the right path, by learning what you should be doing.
How do you know what's the right path if you don't know what the wrong path is?
Okay.
That's the point of me talking about Andrew Tate. And this is the first time that I've spoken about him in a long time, actually, on one of my lives. And there's many young men who literally come on here, ask me why Andrew Tate is bad for men. I have 4 primary reasons as to why he is. And literally 90% of the men that come on here and they ask me why, and they're young men, probably about a little bit older than your son, maybe 18, 19. And they're like, wow, you've totally changed my opinion on him. Because they realize it, like it's breaking a spell. It's a spell that he's cast on the youth. And it's bad. It's very bad. And so it should be talked about. And it should be talked about objectively and taking the emotion out of it. Because the criticisms against him are like, oh, he's a misogynist. I'm a Christian, so you're going to call me a misogynist because I'm the leader of my household. My wife submits to me. and the authority that I have over my household. I'm the leader of my family. I'm in charge of my children. I'm in charge of their safety. I think that the men.
Okay, I'm a Christian, and I don't believe that my wife submits to me.
Where are you, dude? Read your Bible, man. Read your Bible. Paul talks about this. The man is the head of the household. The woman is the body. The body submits to the head. This is biblical. And so,
Okay.
this is what I'm saying, that I have no criticisms of him being, quote unquote, misogynistic. My criticisms of him is that he's promoting, firstly, the subversion of Christianity and Islam, because he promotes Christian morality to his favor, but then disregards a large chunk of it because he says that if anybody's a true Christian, they'll go back into the barbarian times. And so he is only using it to get the moral authority over his person he's having a conversation with, or the audience in which he's delivering a message to. Also, he teaches that money is a savior. And also, he says that you can't find a good wife until you've banged a lot of girls. So he's promoting all these ideologies that are very destructive to young men and women.
Okay. And by a lot of people, and not necessarily what you're doing, again, I'm not trying to upset you, but there are a lot of people out there that are talking about him and bringing light to things like that he said that would have just disappeared into nothingness if it wouldn't.
Does the devil
keep getting
disappear?
propagated.
Does evil just disappear if you don't talk about it? Does murdering disappear if you don't talk about it? Does pedophilia disappear if you don't talk about it? Does rape disappear if you don't talk about it?
No, but I think that you're comparing apples to oranges here.
I'm talking about a man who says that, literally, this is exactly a quote.
You're not talking about the devil.
This
though.
is I'm talking about a man.
human
I'm talking about a man who is promoting demonic ideology, satanic ideology,
Okay.
which is do as thou
You should
wilt.
then you should teach your children the correct way.
Why are you? First off, what I don't even know why I'm entertaining you telling me what I should do on my own life. Like, if you don't like it, then just get on your own life.
I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, man. I'm not trying to upset you.
You're not upsetting me, by the way, at all.
I think I am, and I apologize for that.
Dude, stop being so passive. You're not really upsetting me at all. Like,
Okay.
I'm a passionate speaker. I'm Latino, man. Have you ever spoke with a Puerto Rican? Have you ever spoke with a
Yes.
Puerto Rican man? Then you should know I'm
Yeah.
not upset. I'm passionate
Okay.
when I speak. So it may come across as I'm upset, but trust me, I'm not upset. I'm very happy. I got my
Okay.
beautiful wife, my beautiful daughter right next to me, and my daughters are sleeping in the bed. Like, I'm having a beautiful night, man. I'm having a beautiful night. So I'm not upset. I'm a
That's
passionate speaker.
Good. I'm glad. I am happy for you, and I wish all the best to you and your beautiful family.
Thank you. Likewise, and hopefully your son will stop listening to Andrew Tate. Tell him how bad he is. Maybe you should listen to my 4 reasons why Andrew Tate is a bad person to listen to. He thinks money is a savior. He thinks that Christianity and Islam are only to be used to get the moral authority, and then throw away everything else. What else?
So does he talk about Islam or Christian faith?
Both.
Because that's two
Both.
totally different things.
Both.
See, again, I don't know anything about the guy. He doesn't affect my life at all.
Well, apparently he is if your son's listening to him. So I'd make sure that your son is not looking up to him as some kind of role model.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. My son actually told me he's kind of a dirtbag
Good.
and kind of the shit that he says, and I'm like, well, whatever.
Good.
Fuck him, and he shouldn't affect your life either. And so, I mean, me and my son are kind of on the same page. It's just, I get into a lot of these, I scroll past all these lives and people talking about them. I'm like, man, you just, by continue to talk about him, it's continuing to keep him relevant. And
I get what you're saying.
If you teach your children how to be good men or women, I mean, he doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. You have a good day.
You too. All right. You're buying into a narrative pushed by effeminate men. No, you don't even know the criticisms I'm aiming at Andrew Tate. Same people that coined the term toxic masculinity are sparing anyone with some. No, they're not. Andrew Tate is literally a disgusting human being. He bragged on the Nelk Boys that if 10 women slept with him, all 10 of them ended up getting married and then got a divorce because, he did that to them. He damaged their life so much that they ended up getting a divorce from their husband. And actually, some of them went back to cheat on their husband with Andrew Tate. Yet this is a man who lies and says that he's pro-family. That's like very anti-family. He also says that he donates $20,000 a month to the Orthodox Church, pretends to be a Christian, but then says that he doesn't believe in an afterlife and that he doesn't believe in objective morality and that he is essentially using Christianity to get the upper hand in a conversation for moral authority. And then he also claims that money is your savior. All nonsense. I don't agree with him because joining the Marine Corps is useless. Okay, I don't even know where that comes from. I mean, did he say something about that? Because I wouldn't encourage anybody to join the military at this time. That's very silly. So yeah, are there effeminate men? Gotcha. He said joining the military was useless. Oh, well, then I agree with him there. Andrew Tate and I agree. I don't think that the military should be joined by young men. You should be using your most fertile and active years to start a family, to start a business, to be a valuable asset in your community. Protecting what? A declining nation? Okay, then he's right, 100%. I agree with him 100% on that statement. %. If Andrew Tate said that joining the military was useless because you're protecting what? A useless nation? 100%. Most fertile years, I'm dead at that phrase. Why is that so funny? It's a fact. I mean, your most fertile years, why would you use that being yelled at by some dude and then having some, I saw this interesting video. It was hilarious of this woman in the Marines or something, and she was using this baton hitting some dude that was all padded up, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious because she did like nothing to him, and then she started screaming, and then she whipped off her weave and went all ghetto on him. Like that helped her out at something. Like she activated the superpower by getting into her ghetto stance and taking off her weave. But why would you want to be in that military? It's silly. It's silly. I mean, why would you? I mean, you're not even defending the nation. You're defending corporations. He said you're just protecting billionaires' money by serving a member. Very true. 100%. That's very true. But like, why fertile? Maybe just early adult years because like I'm 23 and don't want no family yet. Why don't you want a family yet? I mean, you go back like 100 years, you'd be a failure at 23 without any kids. It's a man. It'd be like, what are you doing? Are you GAY? Bro, I can't afford a family. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Stop watching your cornos. Stop getting into debt. Stop going out to the bar. Stop going out and spending your money on stupid shit, video games, etc. I don't even know what you do with your money, but you can definitely afford children. What keep another country from taking us over? Well, a strong border was meant to do that, but the borders are weak, and we have an invasion that's been taking place for many of years. The country's already taken over by foreigners. The people exist to protect. Okay. Oh, I literally live at home and do nothing but work. LOL. I only make $29,000 a year and a $40K plus R. If you live at home, what you mean by living at home, like with your parents, you can save almost every dime you have then, bro. You can definitely have a kid. There are tribes that you can give them $1 trillion right now. You can give them $1 million. You can give them $100,000 and they would burn it. What would keep China or Russia from taking us over? What do you mean? There's bigger problems than China and Russia. If you live at home, make 29, you could be saving more than any of us, bro. Facts. Facts. Like, you can be saving up mad bread, dude, and then investing it too. Like invest in yourself and then invest in, the crypto, stock market, something like that, not financial advice. Without a strong military, we'd be done for. We already have a weak military, dude. It's declining. And the dollar is what gives us the most strength. Fathers program their family definitely differently than mothers. No, the father is the head of the household. So the father is in charge of programming the entire family. And in a good way, because society is programming. The government programs. Your other family members attempt to program you as well. This is what people mean by the saying you are what your you are the 5 people you hang out with. That's what I mean by programming. Like your friends, your family program you. The more you hang out with them, the more you act like them. It's a programming that you are adopting by others. To assume that you're not programmed is to be ignorant to your own programming. Host is right. Go look at retention rate, all-time low and still declining. Yeah, I mean, they can't even get people in right now. They're going to have a shortage of recruits in like 2023, 2024, if it keeps going the way it is. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's good. It means that the system it's not good necessarily, but it just means that we're living in a declining empire. And so what's more important than joining the military and fighting for corporations that don't give a damn about you is to build a family and be valuable to your community. Find God too. It forces the government to listen to our needs. Well, the government already listens to your needs. This is the thing most people don't understand about the relationship between the people and the government is that the government only exists because the people want them to exist. And the government is only as corrupt as its population that it governs over. So you were saying it's okay for us to be taken over by another empire? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying it's already happened and you're just blind to it. I mean, have you not been paying attention at all? When's the last time you've seen a heritage American in your world? I mean, as far as just the military, not like any need for a random topic. I get what you're saying, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I can say. But just get yourself some good friends who know how to shoot, who know how to take care of themselves. And I want the government to do well. I want the military to do well. I want the FBI, the police, the CIA, the Department of Justice, all of them to do very well. I think the world will be worse off if they failed. Service members want a lot of change now. The government realizes they have to listen. Fair. I fly a flag in my front yard every day. I did my time in the military. Right on. And are you a boomer? Just out of curiosity. Like, are you a generational boomer? If the government is not evil, what is? Evil is evil. The devil is evil. I mean, there's a lot of things that are evil. But the government is a tool. Gen X. All right. Cool. All right. You just have boomer programming, it seems like. But that's okay. I get it. You take pride in serving the military. It's all good. It's all good. I know a lot of veterans. I know a lot of people in the military. And one thing that they don't like, I'm serious, one thing that they don't like, and I'm sure if you're a veteran, other people know veterans, they know this for a fact. They don't really like it when you say thank you for your service. I'm serious. It's weird. Like I used to do that all the time when I was younger. I'd meet somebody from the military, which I went to school with a bunch of dudes that were in the military, a bunch, like Marines, Army, Navy, a bunch of badasses. Not a bunch of them. A few of them were badasses. Some dude was a combat medic, and a lot of cool dudes. And I was like, oh damn! Every time I talked to them when I first met them, I was like, oh wow, thank you for your service, man. They're just like, yeah, fuck you. Like they're just like, don't thank me, dude. Don't thank me at all. Like I don't want to be thanked. And then you get to like Veterans Day, they hate that shit. Maybe not all veterans do, but the veterans I knew, and I know, they don't like it because they know the wars they were thrown into by the evil government was for personal profits. I mean, you're probably right. A lot of them definitely knew what was going on and what they were getting into. But that's why I don't say, like, when people come on and tell me they're in the military, I never say thank you for your service for a couple reasons because of what I just told you. And then secondly, there are way more people in the military that do absolutely nothing and they just push paper. Like, how is that defending the Constitution? How is being overseas fighting in, Afghanistan for poppy fields helping the American people? I don't know. I love seeing civilians thankful, just don't necessarily think I deserve the thanks. Fair enough. I mean, that's another thing, too. Like, a lot of them are humble. A lot of them don't feel like they deserve it, especially the real ones, especially the ones that have actually seen combat. Because that's the other thing, too. Like, most people that you encounter that were in the military probably never saw a gun being fired at them. Like, the military is a huge, huge industry. Veterans deserve our utmost respect and our thanks for giving us for our rights. But what rights? That's the thing. Like, what are they? Like, how do you go from veterans deserve our utmost respects and thanks for giving up their right, for giving up for rights to serve in our military, and then you say because they know that they were thrown into by the evil government, because they know that they were thrown into by the evil government for personal profit. I'm not against the military. I want the military to do well. Militaries are necessary. They are. They're a very important part of governing and having a nation. And I think that if the military was truly defending the American nation, be different. But we're not defending the American nation. We're defending the corporations of many foreign and domestic business. I mean, just like people. Not all soldiers are terrorizing locals. This ain't Vietnam or 2000 to 2015. Those days are over. Yeah, I know. Nobody said that they're terrorizing locals. That was never my argument, guys. I'm not saying that, all these soldiers are over here. They're attacking innocent people. A lot of them are, yeah, for sure. Like the ones that are in firefights. Those people just want their country and they want you out of their country. Like, yeah, I think I would do some pretty crazy stuff if a foreign army came to my soil. I mean, like, look at what they did in like Vietnam. Like, the reason the Vietnamese went so crazy is because like there were secret missions carried out by the United States where like they would literally have people off their own family members and they'd walk around a village with like a woman and her children's head on a plate. Like, seriously, this is what the US government did in Vietnam. And then you wonder why these Vietnamese went so crazy on the Americans. Like, hell yeah, I would too. If you saw that, like your own people, children that you may have known, wives that you may have known, husbands that you may have known, just paraded around like trophies. Like, yeah, dude, like, and just think about the Afghanis and other people in the Middle East. Like, Yeah, dude, I'd be doing some crazy stuff as well to protect my family. I'd be very suspicious of the white man as myself. The U.S. was creating Viet Cong by terrorizing innocent locals. They hated the U.S. and joined Viet Cong. Yeah. 100%. Like, and I mean, I get it. It's war, right? Like, you're trying to instill fear into the enemy. But why were we even fighting in Vietnam? We were fighting in Vietnam to keep quote unquote communism out. But who cares that communism would take over Vietnam anyway? Communism has worked out very well for China. They're about to pass us and, economic worth. War isn't pretty. Fact, it isn't pretty. I think most wars are satanic. Like the Vietnam War. Why did we fight in Vietnam? What if the Vietnam people wanted communism? What if they wanted it? Let them have it. The only reason we were in that war is to just try to keep the global control over, nations, or to maintain as the global police, if you will. Which, who elected the United States to be the global police? Not you or me. Not the people in China, not the people in Vietnam, not the people in the Middle East. So, but this isn't me saying that the military is bad, the military is evil. The military is a tool that is used by the government. The military can do good things. War is sometimes justified, I believe. So you are pro-communist. How programmed are you? Like, I say not bad things about communism, and then you assume that I'm communist. No, I'm not a communist. I'm not pro-communist. I very much like capitalism. But I'm also not oblivious to the fact that communism has objectively worked in China. It has. A type of communism has worked in China. And people sometimes do want communism. And if they're not in our nation and they want communism, let them have communism. He's a boomer. He hates communism. Yeah. By definition, it's not actually communism in China. It is communism in China. It's a form of communism. You understand that like socialism and communism have been this like evolving thing. Like it's been tried in many different ways. You can try to pin it down with one like exact definition, but just like capitalism, like right now there's a distinction, right? It's crony capitalism that's bad. It's not real capitalism. And then there's industrial capitalism. And then there's financial capitalism, right? So there are different forms of it. There's this umbrella term for communism and socialism, just like there's this umbrella term and understanding for capitalism. It is a form of communism. And it works for them. Works very well, as a matter of fact. I'm not saying I want to live in China. I'm not saying I want a communist state in the U.S. Not at all. The U.S. has to more so worry about fascism than communism, by definition. How's their housing market right now? Okay, economies ebb and flow. What is your point? One day the youth will wake up, but it will be too late. We are the last freedom frontier. What? Why do you think the government isn't evil? Because it's a tool to help control society and make sure that, you can go walking down the street without just being attacked, or you don't have these angry warlords taking over your block. That's essentially what the government is doing. Their crash before ours show how unstable their system actually is. What do you mean? They've prevented, like during the 2008 crash, I don't even think that China was affected that much, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on. I mean, like, China's like one of the biggest lenders right now. China has a shit ton of gold. Oh, okay. You mean like the concept of government? Yeah, the concept of government. Exactly. You're all good. You're all good. So, I mean, will the Chinese economy experience a crash? Probably. Will the United States government experience an economic crash? Probably. I mean, what's your point? They've been able to keep their economy from crashing as hard as our economy has crashed. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing, just, I mean, they have more control over their economy. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, I typically don't think it's a good thing, but anyway, I'm going to be done for tonight. Yeah. So it was a decent one. Not too long, not too short, just enough. All right, guys. MOT Media. I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. But all right, guys. Much love. Peace.